From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
How difficult was this year's sweet potato harvest?
We pushed the crop on to as far as we could to get some size on it to get the maximum potential out of our crops this year. And it still didn't turn out the way we wanted it to.
What farmers are facing in Louisiana right now. A major scam targeting the dairy industry, why some say it's worse than ransomware attacks. And bracing for impact.
There isn't a lot of snow cover down south this year, so any of these cold temperatures are definitely going to affect the crop.
As a large chunk of the country prepares for a major winter storm, bringing snow, high winds, and unbelievably bitter cold temperatures. Team coverage right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Happening right now, meteorologists are warning on this first official day of winter that some parts of the country could see some of the coldest temperatures they've ever seen. A powerful Arctic blast is pushing east, bringing with it snow with the potential for blizzard-like conditions due to high winds and bitter cold temperatures. Now, how cold? Checking out this one telling map from the National Weather Service in Cheyenne. These are minimum wind chill numbers expected tonight. As you can see, 48 below is forecast for Casper, Wyoming. And look at Harrison at 69 below. Forecasters calling this level of cold life-threatening. But it doesn't end there. As the storm continues to push east, it will bring heavy snow, especially in the states around Lake Michigan by Friday morning. Those areas expected to receive the longest duration of snowfall at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour at times. And those very strong winds expected to impact nearly the entire eastern half of the U.S. as the storm grows. More than 80% of the U.S. is facing the potential for below freezing temperatures with this storm. Meteorologist Courtney Jorgensen is tracking the snow and cold.
Across the nation, temperatures are going to be dipping quite cold as we head right on into the holiday weekend. Take a look at those temperatures this afternoon and you can see what's going to be happening across the country. Further towards the southwest, not too bad, but further towards the north, well, they're going to be getting quite a bit of energy. As we look at the jet stream's path as we work our way through the end of the second half of the week, dipping much further down into the central portions of the country and off towards the northeast, that is going to be a significant weather maker, especially as far as snowfall amounts are concerned. We get a little bit of a ridge on the backside of that as we head into the beginning of next week over in the southwestern portions of the country. As far as snowfall totals, what we might be seeing, you can see just in the portions of the Great Lakes. Through Thursday evening, we're looking upwards of 6 inches of snowfall, but once we move into the Great Lakes, we start to see that lake effect snow component begin to kick up, and we're talking the potential for 12 plus inches of snowfall.
Yields in the Fields on Ag Day is brought to you by Micro Essentials from Mosaic, the science of more. Discover our proven products. Text yields to 31313.
And something pretty amazing on those cold winter nights. Check out these light pillars. This is amazing to see. Dar Tanner spotting them with his camera in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. He says they were the brightest and tallest pillars he's ever seen, maybe myself as well too. I'll have more on your wintry forecast coming up.
All right, thanks Courtney. Right now the northern plains is seeing even more snow. That's after ice and a few feet of snow last week. Plus, now you factor in these bitter cold temperatures. AgDay's Michelle Rook continues our team coverage with a look at the market impact.
Clinton, this week sub-freezing temperatures stretch all the way down to the southern plains, so it's hitting both the wheat belt and especially those in cattle feeding country hard. Yet it's being somewhat ignored by the trade. Now, true, winter wheat is in dormancy, but analysts tell me the markets need to give this weather more respect. Hard and soft-red winter wheat came into the winter with one of the lowest ratings in history at only 34% good to excellent. Texas, Kansas, and Nebraska were at only 21% good to excellent. And areas of western Kansas and southern Nebraska missed last week's snow. However, market analysts say Kansas City wheat has very little of any weather premium built in.
I don't think we're going to see a large premium built in to winter wheat. Again, winter wheat seems to have 9 lives and we're kind of on our first life here of the talk of winter kill. But I do think it is worth noting that there isn't a lot of snow cover down south this year. So any of these cold temperatures are definitely going to affect the crop.
Now, those same Arctic temperatures are going to reach all the way down to Texas, impacting a large part of cattle feeding country, decreasing performance. But market analysts say the cattle market isn't trading that news either.
This weather thing, I think, is being underappreciated by these techie computer trader algorithm deals that don't have manure in their boots, frankly. They don't understand the kind of weight loss and the kind of stress that the cattle went through on the first storm, but especially what they're going to go through this week when we get to 50 below zero.
He says up until now, weather has been ideal and cattle performance has been outstanding, so the cold will increase feed consumption and decrease weights. Now, Koima says that the February live cattle futures should be trading at $5 to $6 above the cash, but instead are below cash. And he says the markets have been caught up in the year-end fund liquidation and recessionary or demand concerns.
Another developing story we're following, a spending package making its way through Congress right now that's expected to get a final vote before the Christmas holiday. And there are several key proposals that could impact ag. The total 4,000-page package comes in at $1.7 trillion. Now, it includes aid for rice producers and cotton merchandisers. It's to make up for losses related to the pandemic or supply chain issues. There's also $3.7 billion in disaster aid for farmers to cover this year's crop and livestock losses. There's money for 2 programs that provide foreign food aid, updates to the summer food service program, and efforts to investigate reports of stolen SNAP benefits. It also cracks down on conservation easements, which allow tax breaks when land is dedicated for conservation purposes. There are also almost $2 billion for farm programs, including $61 million to resolve ownership and succession of farmland issues, an extension of the livestock mandatory reporting requirements, and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission whistleblower program. The issue over Canada's dairy tariff rate quota isn't over yet. The U.S. Trade Representative's office announcing it's requesting new dispute settlement consultations with Canada. The office saying since initiating consultations with Canada back in May, it has identified additional aspects of Canada's measures it says appear to be inconsistent with Canada's obligations under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack saying, quote, Canada remains in violation of its commitments under the USMCA by not removing its trade restrictions on American dairy producers, end quote. Now, you'll remember in January, a dispute settlement panel agreed with the U.S. that Canada was breaching its USMCA commitments by reserving most of the in-quota quantity in its dairy tariff rate quotas for the exclusive use of Canadian processors. And one particular dairy product seems to be at the center of a scam going on right now. Authorities say cyber criminals are placing fraudulent orders for milk products. They're reportedly setting up email accounts, impersonating food company executives, and convincing suppliers to ship them truckloads of powdered milk. But the criminals never pay for the products. It's the latest example of business email compromise, or BEC. Now, experts say it has cost Americans far more than any other type of online crime. The FBI received nearly 20,000 complaints like this last year, with losses estimated at nearly $2.5 billion. They say BEC attacks don't command the same national attention as ransomware attacks because they are less noticeable and don't create big disruptions like computer outages. But authorities say they're still a top concern. Lettuce prices are spiking right now in California as the crop continues to battle disease. The Mercury News reporting organic lettuce at one grocery store in Oakland, California was priced at nearly $11 a head. Nationwide, the average is about $2.50 for a head of romaine, but that's still up 47% from October. Farmers and researchers working right now to try and find a cure for the insect spread virus that has hit lettuce fields in Salinas Valley, with some farmers seeing entire fields wiped out. But it's not just shoppers facing shortages and higher prices. Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A warn customers who may not be able to prepare some items due to shortages of lettuce. Tuesday saw a big rebound in both grains and feeder cattle. We'll discuss that coming up in our market analysis. And later, it was a bad year for sweet potato growers in Louisiana. We'll dig into how the industry moves forward today in the country. And here's the next winner in our Case IH giveaway. Congratulations to Bernard Manderfeld of Faribault, Minnesota. You've won an awesome prize pack from Case IH. We'll bring you another winner tomorrow morning. And remember, the grand prize winner of that Farm All Seed Pedal tractor will be announced on U.S. Farm Report this weekend.
AgDay is brought to you by Germinator Closing Wheels. Germinator Closing Wheels provide quicker emergence and are more consistent in dry conditions than any other closing wheels. Order 12 to 16 rows today and qualify for free shipping or 20% off an end zone moisture management package.
Soybeans climbed on Tuesday, and that helped the corn market as well. AgDay's Michelle Rook is back with more on Markets Now.
It was a higher day in the grains on Tuesday. Brian Grady with Pro Farmer joins us. And Brian, let's talk a little bit about the bounce in corn and soybeans. Was it all technically inspired, or was the market trying to put in a little South American weather premium again?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. And I think another factor is the light holiday trade. So we got the ball rolling to the upside, and it doesn't take as much in low volume trade, and we really pushed it. So you see those types of situations. Now, South American weather, it's improved just a little bit here short term, but Argentina still has drought issues, and their crop estimates continue to decline. Southern Brazil, the same type of situation. So, yeah, but maybe the trade is factoring in a little bit, and then you get the technical factors involved.
So do you think the Argentina weather situation alone is enough to push us back over $15 in soybeans, or what's it going to take?
Oh, probably not. To be honest with you, the meal market would be more responsive to the Argentine situation because of the 40% of the world trade in meal comes out of Argentina. Soybeans, obviously, Brazil is the bigger factor. So if that dryness in southern Brazil spreads or worsens, then that becomes an issue for the soybean market, and that would probably push us above $15.
So did corn just basically follow soybeans today?
Yeah, and I think corn will be a follower market here as we move forward. Soybeans probably have the most upside potential. With that said, they probably have the most downside potential too. I think that corn has been kind of in between, and then wheat has been the one that's the least performing, so to speak.
Absolutely. Wheat, are we trying to put in a little weather premium there, or was that all technical?
I think the low came a couple weeks ago, but I'm not real convinced of that. They have very low weather premium built in. With that said, it's a really difficult time of year for the market to get excited about weather, even when we do have this Arctic blast coming. So there will probably be some crop damage, but we won't know that until spring when the crop greens up, and then it becomes a moisture situation in the spring. So still a long time out on that.
All right, thanks for joining us, Brian Grady, Pro Farmer. More AgDay coming up.
Meteorologist Courtney Jorgensen joining us, taking a look at our feels like temperatures, and those are some cold temperatures, and they stretch really far south.
You know, that cold front's going to be stretching all the way from the north to the south. It is going to be making a significant impact on our weather all across the country. And you can see those colder temperatures up in the Dakotas, temperatures feeling like 30 degrees below zero. And as that system begins to track its way across the Great Lakes, it is going to continue to make that impact. In fact, by the time we head into this afternoon, you can see those colder temperatures dipping all the way down to the southern portions of the country. Wow, what an impact that is going to be. And along with that, very gusty conditions as well, too. We're talking wind gusts upwards of 30, 40 miles per hour. And you can kind of see exactly where that cold front is going to be lining itself up. So by the time we head towards Thursday morning, quite a bit of the country is going to be dealing with winds upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour. And that is going to continue as we head into the start of the weekend. You can see that flow as far as the jet stream is concerned. Wednesday, there's that energy beginning to dip down all the way into Friday, impacting nearly the whole eastern half of the country. We start to build a ridge off towards the southwestern portions of the United States here, though, as we head into Sunday, Christmas Day itself. Then things start to become a little bit more steady before we start to see another system build up its energy as we head into the start of next week. Here's what it looks like for you out there. There's a cold front that's moving through first, but the bigger one is what we're watching. This begins to pull itself in as we head into Wednesday evening, and by the time we get into Thursday morning, we'll see rain showers underneath that, but the wet weather coming in behind this is all going to be coming in that form of snowfall, significantly heavy snowfall impacting the Midwest and into the Great Lakes. As far as how much snowfall, many of those folks by Thursday are starting to see upwards of 6 inches or so. But once we get into the Great Lakes, we start to pick up those lake effect snow components, and that's when we see things really start to kick up, upwards of 12, maybe even 18 plus inches of snow as we head into the holiday weekend. Here's what it looks like as far as local cities in your area. Snow is likely with blustery conditions in Wagner, South Dakota, high of 13, low 16 below zero. Logan, Ohio, sunny skies, high of 44, and into Manford, Oklahoma, 46.
A traditional Christmas favorite is more weed than decoration. We'll talk about mistletoe next. And later, sweet potatoes are a favorite of the holiday season. Farmers in Louisiana say this season was one of the worst ever. More on that today in the country.
Farmer to Farmer, the Conservation at Work video series features real stories, real successes, real quick. See what's possible at farmers.gov/conservation. Weed Warriors on Ag Day is brought to you by Fierce, a pre-emergence herbicide with 3 formulations. Learn more at valent.com/fierce. Always read and follow label instructions.
Now, mistletoe may be a welcome sight in many holiday homes right now, but it's not a friend if you find it in your trees. According to the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, mistletoe is a hemiparasite or a semi-parasitic plant. Now, one horticulturalist says the plant makes its food from photosynthesis, but the roots grow into the host tree, sucking water and minerals out from the sap. And mistletoe can survive as long as the tree it lives in, so some mistletoe alive today could be around in 100 years. Now, in Florida, mistletoe has been known to make its home in many hardwood trees thanks to birds.
The birds have spread the seeds of mistletoe and they started to grow on the river birch, and they are a parasite, so they're actually pulling the nutrients and water from this plant. Mistletoe is an evergreen, and what happens, it is a flowering plant that will produce seeds. The birds will actually pick up the seeds and either eat them, and then as it goes through its digestive system, they'll drop it on different plants, and that seed is very, very sticky. It will then actually grow into the wood of the plant and then draw the nutrients and water.
Mistletoe is most easily spotted in winter when many trees lose their leaves to reveal clusters of it. But mistletoe also has some benefits in nature. Its white flowers provide nectar and pollen for native bees and honeybees. There are also several types of butterflies and moths that rely solely on mistletoe species as host plants for their caterpillars. Another holiday favorite met tough times this season. A look at the sweet potato growing season in Louisiana and why farmers are trying to figure out where to go next in the country. Louisiana sweet potato farmers had what some in the industry called the worst year ever. As LSU Ag Center reporter Craig Gautreaux tells us, a group of farmers and researchers met to discuss developments in the industry and what the future may hold for Louisiana's sweet potato farmers.
For Louisiana sweet potato farmers, the start of their season was ideal. Then it got hot and dry. Next was a flood, which was immediately followed by a 2-month drought. This topsy-turvy weather dramatically reduced yields.
We usually see yields anywhere from 500 to 600 bushel to the acre on a good year, which is what we looked like we were going into, a 500 to 600 bushel acre. We averaged about 150 bushel an acre this year.
Growers were left with some hard decisions. Many opted to delay harvest, hoping the potatoes would grow larger and possibly salvage the season.
We pushed the crop on to as far as we could to get some size on it to get the maximum potential out of our crops this year, and it still didn't turn out the way we wanted it to.
Compounding the problem is that sweet potatoes do not have the price support programs that many other row crops have.
There is a chance to get some federal money to help support producers, but generally they don't really have a whole lot of other options, and that's just to kind of regroup and hope next year's a better year.
Sweet potatoes are Louisiana's largest vegetable crop and have been grown and marketed for centuries. In some parts of the state, they are a fixture.
We've grown sweet potatoes in here in Louisiana for over 200 years. So it's really important that we not only support our farmers financially, but culturally. It's such a part of Louisiana.
While this year was a tough one, Louisiana sweet potato farmers are a resilient group, and many are looking forward to a better year in 2023. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gotro reporting.
All right, thanks, Craig. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clint Griffiths. Have a great day.